2024 has witnessed one of the most furiously contested presidential elections in US history. We've seen one candidate survive an assassination attempt, that's Donald Trump, and we've seen a sitting US president's election campaign collapse on television, that's Joe Biden. Well, today was another one of those big upsets. Vice President Kamala Harris was pitted against Donald Trump, and she came out with flying colors. Is it advantage Kamala Harris, we're asking? And what can US and the world look forward to should Kamala Harris win the elections this November? Let's not forget, Indians have skin in the game on both sides. Kamala Harris's mother, Shamala, is of Indian origin. And Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance's wife, Usha, is from Andhra Pradesh. But what could today's debate mean for the US presidential elections? Joining me to discuss this are Ambassador Suresh K. Goyal, Dr. Vineet Prakash, the JNU, and my colleague Anthony Rosario. Gentlemen, welcome to the News9 Plus show. I want to start by asking you this. Ambassador Goyal, what did you think of the debate today? Kamala Harris, all guns blazing, Trump shaken but not stirred?
Absolutely. It was a great debate, I must say. I have only part of it. I'm sorry, I'm not a very early riser.
Right.
My son did get up around 6 o'clock to listen to the debate, and I saw the debate on BBC and the other channels afterwards.
Yes.
It was a very interesting debate in the sense that even earlier during the campaign period, Kamala Harris had managed to really put Trump in a very delicate position by focusing on his weak areas, on his really those sensitive points. And today in the debate, again, as she began, she clearly showed Trump that he will have to, he will be basically running on a negative kind of an image that Trump has developed already.
Yes.
I mean, for example, talking about the economy, the way he went about the economy, the plans, even if he didn't give the detail, at least, and the phrases she used, tired rhetoric, a candidate who is contesting the elections after having been involved in several cases, sex charges, all those things she brought into focus right in the beginning of the debate.
Right.
And that really rattled Trump. I found that at the end of it, he was quite rattled, really.
He was quite rattled, and he actually looked a lot like Joe Biden did, a little over a month ago. It looks like the tables are turned. But Dr. Vineet Prakash, how did the candidates do on these 5 major issues that really matter for the United States? That's immigration policy, the economy, abortion, of course, foreign policy, and of course, Trump's legal battles and Kamala Harris's racial identity. Let's take them one at a time. Firstly, the economy. Kamala Harris came out with a very clear plan that she had to fix the US economy. Your thoughts on this?
Definitely, Trump has his own positions on the economy. So his primary plan is that he would increase tariffs, and that is going to somehow make the US economy better.
Yes.
So Harris did counter that by saying that it is going to make things more expensive. Both candidates have their own positions on the economy, and it's interesting to see how it pans out. I mean, how it gains traction with the voters in America. So economy is definitely an important issue. Inflation is a very important concern. Cost of living is a very important concern with voters, and all these are going to play a very crucial role in who they are going to vote for in November.
Right, absolutely. Immigration policy, Ambassador Goyal, how crucial would that be? Both candidates took that up very seriously because immigrants flooding into the United States is a very major campaign plank for Trump. Of course, he did talk about cats and dogs, and that's like running memes all over social media now. The fact that immigrants are eating people's pets, cats and dogs.
A very important issue. Immigrants, basically, because it does impact on the economy, it impacts on the unemployment situation in the country, etc., etc. It's an issue on which Republicans have a policy which is very serious, which actually can be debated in a very effective manner. But the problem is that when Trump launched into this kind of a thing that they are eating their American pets, they are eating cats and dogs, he became a laughing stock. And you could see, you could see Kamala Harris really sniggering at him from the corner.
Yes, yes,
Now, when you this, even though immigration is a very serious issue,
yes,
Trump really emerged as a non-serious candidate,
right,
even on a serious issue on like immigration.
right,
So ultimately, I think Kamala Harris, even without saying much on what
yes.
plan will be on the immigration, she actually won the point.
She won the point indeed. And Dr. Vineet Prakash, foreign policy, another big thing for the United States, because the United States is the world's only superpower. It's a global cop.
Likes to
And
believe.
yes, and the visuals out of Afghanistan didn't do its image very, it didn't do much for its image of retreat. I mean, it was like Saigon in 1970s. But how did the two candidates handle this exit from Afghanistan?
This is one issue which is very tricky for Harris because she is part of the administration which
Yes.
took the decision to withdraw from Afghanistan or executed the decision to withdraw. So definitely she was bold enough to own the decision. So that is something which I think will go in her favor.
Right.
And secondly, she was very deftly able to point out that it was Trump who negotiated with the terrorist organization Taliban.
And brought them to Camp David and
yeah,
feted them in
yeah.
Camp David. Yes.
Yeah, so that is something which was executed very well as if you look at it from the debate point of view, and it is I think going to gain traction with voters as well. So the fact that it is only Biden's blame regarding what happened in Afghanistan, that is not going to stick later in the campaign. So that was one gain from this discussion.
It's not going to stick indeed, yes. And all
Yeah.
the positives that Trump had. Yes, yes, please continue, Dr. Prakash.
Secondly, it clearly showed that she's a strong woman. Like Trump has been saying all this while that she's not going to be able to handle important leaders of the world, and she's
Yes.
would not be able to conduct herself in those meetings. So today's debate clearly showed that all those things are false claims.
The
made
false
by
claims,
Trump.
and she held her ground and some more.
Yeah.
So this is possibly a turning point in the US elections, because presidential debates, they kind of help the candidates not so much as they help the electors, the voters, make up their mind on which candidate they're going to vote for. And Kamala Harris had a lot more riding on this than Donald Trump, given the fact that there was a large number of Democrats that didn't know her, and they do today. And that's going to work in her favor. Anthony, you're nodding very quietly over there listening to this whole debate, but tell us how close we are to seeing a President Kamala Harris in the White House.
Well, as of now, I think Kamala Harris does. The fight between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris is neck to neck. If you
Yes.
consider just one TV debate, I'm not too sure
Right.
if that should be put into consideration. But as we've seen in 2016, when the race between Hillary
Yes.
Clinton was seemingly ahead of Donald Trump, but when the election results came
Right.
and Hillary Clinton was defeated, and it was a shocking sort of an episode for the
Yes.
Democrats, right?
That's the
So
last
of
time
course,
a woman came close to being the president of the United States.
that was the last time, and then she was very close, heartbeat away from presidency, as we
Yes.
call it. Kamala Harris, of course, on her own merits, probably could be at par, but then one can never say as to, because this election is really close. A couple of days back, we knew that Kamala Harris was leading. Now there's some reports that say, oh, Trump is leading. Now if the fight is neck to neck, there's a fair chance that there's a margin of error, a statistical margin of errors, which could place Trump ahead of Kamala Harris. And also the fact that a lot of people say that, a lot of Trump supporters are silent supporters, because they're maybe embarrassed, or otherwise they do not want to reveal in public in these surveys that they're Trump supporters. And that could very well hide that factor in those polls.
Yes.
So one can never say. But of course, going by this presidential debate, Kamala Harris definitely has an edge, very close to the White House. But I think the devil lies in the details. And
Devil
the
lies in the details, and
yeah.
you're, of course, spoken to us about 2016, that it's too early to pronounce mission accomplished, and it ain't over until it's over, and that's just a month away from now, and of course we'll know the results very soon. But Ambassador Goel, closing comments from you. We know President Donald Trump. We've dealt with him for 4 years. President Kamala Harris, how much more different is it going to be from a Biden administration? Is it going to be a continuation of the same?
I think she has made it very clear that her economic policies are going to be different. They will be tweaked from Biden's economic policies.
Yes.
And I think also on the foreign policy, we could see a difference as we have seen in her remarks on Afghanistan, certainly more engaged with the world,
Right.
I mean, or equally engaged with the world. But again, basically a national agenda coming to the fore. So there could be slight tweaking, but the economic policy, there will be a bit of quite a bit of a change, I'm quite certain. Employment, growth, small
Right.
businesses.
Right.
But one thing that you mentioned, Sandeep, and I just wanted to focus on that. This
Yes.
is besides the economy and the agenda. Uh, Kamala Harris having an Indian origin,
Yes.
having an Indian mother, or once having an Indian wife
Yes.
means nothing.
Right. Absolutely.
Let us means nothing. They are Americans. For them, America comes first,
Right.
and American interest will come first, whatever it is, and therefore we need to remain cautious. We need to know where our interests are. And
Right.
yes, that's all.
Well,
Ambassador Goel, I'd like to point out, of course, this point never came up. Although she was very close to her mother, and probably when her parents separated, she was actually cradled by her mother in a very black neighborhood.
Yes.
And then she continues to identify as a black woman and not
Yes.
as a woman of Indian origin. Now that
Right.
could be because of her very the black neighborhood in Oakland where she
Yeah.
grew up,
Yeah.
the black Harvard University where she went to, or very well a matter of convenience because a black woman in America versus an Indian woman here, you choose who's going to fare better. So I think
and
there's-
Trump said he doesn't really matter for him.
yeah,
right? And
probably
it's-
Trump didn't know apparently.
Yes,
if Trump is to
he
be
kind of
believed.
dodged
Yeah.
that question. But Dr. Vineet Prakash, how does Kamala Harris, how does President Kamala Harris work for India? Because we have to see what India's interests are in the White House. Will they be better served by Kamala Harris or by Donald Trump, old friend of India?
See, the India-US relationship is driven more by geo strategic factors rather
Yes.
than personalities either in India or in the White House. So I would say it won't make much of a difference. The India-US relationship would continue
Yes.
on its upward trajectory because both countries have interests which meet at some point, and both countries in a way need each other. Who needs the other more, that can be debated, but both countries do share interests at the moment.
Right.
And it is likely to persist in future as well. So I
Right.
think even if say Trump is there or Harris is there, it is not going to matter much.
It's not going to matter much. Indeed, the India-US relationship is founded on a strategic concerns for both sides, and they're united by a lot more things than they are divided. But of course, the President of the United States makes a big difference. The President of the United States is the world's most powerful politician. And in a month's time, we'll know whether it's going to be President Donald Trump again, or will it be Lotus for POTUS, President Kamala Harris. Keep watching this space. Thank you very much for joining us this evening, gentlemen.